Alright, so the new Superman movie literally just came out as of the time I'm writing the script, and it's been doing pretty good so far. Solid box office projections, great reviews from the critics, a lot of fans seem to like it so far, so that's good, right? Seems like all the articles and posts were right after all. James Gunn managed to put together a pretty safe and classical take on the character that really sticks to what all the comics established, and overall made a super comic accurate Superman movie. Right?
Wrong!
See, here's the thing. In between some of the weirder parts of the movie, there's one big thing in particular that's been lighting up comment sections and Twitter tweets since Thursday, one big change to the overall lore of the Man of Steel that flips the entirety of who Superman is and his backstory completely on its head and changes everything we assumed we knew about Krypton in the DCU. Alright, now real quick before I get too deep into this, let me just tap the sign right here. Just giving you all a chance to take a minute and soak that up. Alright, we good? Everybody ready for the spoilers now? Great. So anyway, like I was saying, one of the biggest things that everybody's talking about right now is that Superman wasn't actually sent to Earth just to escape a dying planet or to be a super on the nose stand-in for a religious figure or something like that. Instead, turns out he was actually sent here to rule and conquer the planet.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, so in the movie, we know that Clark has a message from his Kryptonian parents. Pretty standard stuff. But then Lex invades the Fortress of Solitude, finds the message, and finishes decoding it. That's the part where Superman fights the giant monster in the city, by the way. Turns out Jor-El and Lara actually told their son to start conquering Earth, killing whoever gets in his way, and repopulating so he can start making some new Kryptonians.
What an asshole!
Yeah, apparently these guys took some notes from Nappa and Omni-Man, because that is the most Viltrum and Saiyan sounding thing I think I've ever heard. And just in case you're wondering, no, this isn't a mistranslation or an alteration or anything like that. Mr. Terrific at least claimed that the message wasn't altered in any way, and when Lex gets it broadcasted, it also includes the same beginning of the message that Clark saw earlier in the movie. Now, believe it or not, but this idea that Kryptonians conquer stuff isn't exactly new. Like, post-Crisis comics, I think, established that Kryptonians conquered other planets and had an empire earlier in their history before they were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. And thanks to some DNA tampering, just sort of relegated themselves to being space shut-ins that usually never left Krypton after that. Of course, this wasn't the only time the whole Kryptonian Empire thing ever came up either. Smallville's second season also introduced the idea that Clark was sent to Earth as a conqueror in the episode Rosetta.
On this third planet from this star, Sol, you be God among men. They are a flawed race, rule them with strength, my son. That is where your greatness lies. I think I was sent here to conquer.
To be fair though, I'm fairly certain this plot point isn't referenced again in the later seasons, but if anyone remembers for sure, then let me know in the comments. What I do remember though is the more recent show, My Adventures with Superman, also presented a version of the Kryptonian Empire through the introduction of both Supergirl and Brainiac.
Kara said you wanted to bring back the best of Krypton, the technology, the scientific advancements.
How do you think we made those advancements? War was the engine which fueled the Empire. This was my Krypton.
Now, even though the Empire has been a thing, and one version even tried conquering Earth at one point, the main difference between these and this is that those depictions made it clear that the Kryptonian Empire was more a thing of the past and not really something they want to do anymore. Kind of. But seriously though, this movie presents current/modern Kryptonians as actively trying to invade and conquer other planets. It's a wild take on the source material, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm kinda into it. I mean, yeah, on the surface, it's not exactly the most comic accurate thing James Gunn could have done. Like, there's more stories about how advanced and peaceful Krypton was than there are about it being bloodthirsty and warmongering, but even so, it does kind of play with the same idea, I think, that John Byrne had when writing the post-crisis stories, that Krypton is this cold and alien place, and Clark basically just claims Earth as his true home. Plus, this is a really interesting take on the story, right? Like, we don't really have all that many adaptations that go with this angle, and I think it potentially opens a lot of doors to a bunch of new plot lines, and even introduces some crazy questions that need to be answered moving forward. Like, if this is how modern-ish Krypton society was, then why doesn't Kara want to conquer Earth? How do other Superman villains like Brainiac or Zod fit into these plans, if they do at all? Now, having said all that, I have seen some copium online that this will get changed in the later movies. Like, it'll turn out Brainiac or Lex or somebody messed with the message or something like that, despite, you know, that whole independent confirmation I mentioned earlier. But at the same time, anybody can change anything whenever they feel like it if something doesn't stick with the audience too well, so I guess we'll just need to wait and see how people feel about the idea of a Kryptonian empire as more people go to the theater and we get new comments and complaints posted online. But anyways, that's my take on the new Kryptonian lore we just got in the new Superman movie. If you guys like this video, maybe want to see me do more videos about this new Man of Steel and his world, then let me know by liking this video, clicking that subscribe button, and leaving a comment down below. Even if you didn't like this video, you can go ahead and let me know that in the comments too, I guess. I mean, it is a free country, right?
Listen, it's a free country, it's not rent-free country.
Either way, with that, I will see you all next time.